lucky. If that is your ball flight, if you struggle with that slice, that fade out to the right-hand side with the driver, perhaps you hit your irons okay, pretty straight, but the driver is the struggle. This is why I'm going to explain to you the setup woes that so many golfers do wrong. So with a mid-iron, if I had a 7-iron here in my stance, it'd be quite centralish. And as a setup, often I see players with pretty good alignment. Their shoulders and their forearms match their knees and match their feet. But as the ball goes more forwards in the stance, where we want it to play with the driver, I often see the golfer get their shoulders then pointing for a right-handed golfer too much to the left. We call that an open position. That's where a lot of slicers are, because it's encouraging them to swing across the golf ball. For a right-handed player, too much to the left. So the ball goes forwards, the shoulders follow, and I often see what I was demonstrating there at the start, that trail arm is very locked and very rigid. So when you're at a downline camera, you can actually see my lead arm underneath. I want this lead arm hidden, so if we do get to record from downline, we should hide this arm, and we're going to do it by setting up, and then we're going to make sure we pull back our trail shoulder and tuck in our right elbow. So our right elbow here for right-handed golfer, left for a left-hander, our trail arm is a little bit more tucked in towards our rib cage. So now in the setup position, this arm's either hidden or maybe even pointing or in front of my trail arm rather than that way around. So pull back the shoulder, tuck in the elbow. The other big benefit that has, starting with a bit of flex here, it's going to allow it to fold correctly. If I start with that arm rigid and locked like so many golfers do, it's encouraging this kind of position and then some sort of compensatory movement. We need that trail arm to fold, stay folded and down in front of us. A good downswing plane will look something like this. An out to in swing plane will look something like that. That trail hand going out, the trail arm extending. So don't start with it here. Start with some flex. Allow it to fold correctly. Let me just quickly show you the good setup position. And see, that last one was 12 degrees. I know I was exaggerating a little bit, but 12 degrees out to in. Even for me, I'm pretty good, almost zero with an iron, yet with the driver I do get a couple of degrees out to in. And the swing feels the same, but the ball's gone that bit more forwards. So you've got to work a little bit harder to not be a slicer, to not swing too much out to in. So from this setup position, rather than there, I'm going to pull back that trail shoulder. I'm going to tuck in this trail elbow, allowing it to fold as I really want here. So you can see that was a little bit high out the head, but you can see a very different, it's going to catch up in the rough unfortunately, a very different flight there. Started more right to target, drew more to the left of the target. Now it was still slightly out to in, it was just a bit toey. But instead of 12 degrees out to in, it was 3, which is quite typical for me. I'm a little bit that way. 3, we can live with a lot more than 12, can't we? So let's not start with that trail trail shoulder forwards. Let's not start with that arm lock. Let's pull it back. Let's tuck it in. And then really consciously thinking about that trail elbow position in the backswing and the downswing. Now, I'm going to go a stage further. I've got no problem, if it helps, to get out of that slicer swing. I've got no problem with setting up as normal and then even shimmering my body, set up as normal, turn round to the right a little bit. For me as a right-handed golfer, make sure this shoulder's back. Quite a good way can be almost feeling like your hand comes onto the grip from underneath. Keeping that shoulder back, keeping that elbow tucked in towards my body. More of a draw type of setup here. Okay. So what we've created there is just going to miss in that blooming left rough again. But what you can see there, carried sort of 250, it would have run out there a good 280 because the spin will be nice and low. 2,300 backspin, great. I created a much better, much more neutral swing path. a lot less from out to in. I hit more up on the ball. So people who swing out to in quite often end up hitting down on it as well, and that's a very inefficient way to play a driver. Unless you generate huge speed, you're going to be robbed of distance from there. So if we can start creating a more neutral swing or slightly into out and hit up on the ball, it's going to really help our efficiency, that high launch, that low spin. So I'm not worried about you cheating your setup by just closing your body, by turning from me as a right-hander more to the right, if that helps. But start with the shoulder alignment, start with the forearm alignment. If you can do those two simple things, I've seen people change their swing path and go from 10, 12 degrees out to in to more like 4 or 5 just with the setup and no swing changes. So start there. If you're fading, slicing that driver, it's really going to help. If that video does help, smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe.